Jesse and so. And this is with Salem, if you can please read us out of executive session. It has been that. According to the votes reported by the clerk of the school board of Warren County, it is hereby certified that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1. Only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification applies. And 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board. Is there a second?
I second it.
Mr. Valentine, do you roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Salins? Aye. Madam Chair?
Aye.
Mr. McFadden?
Aye.
Mrs. Lowe?
Aye.
Dr. Fonte?
Thank you. Welcome, everybody, this evening. We'll go ahead and get started. If you could please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. We have a really small flag over the I'd like to mention
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. How the goodness everywhere.
Is there a motion to accept or modify the agenda this evening? I move that we accept the agenda as presented. Is there a second? A second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. First this evening, we have a presentation from the Warren County Educational Endowment. Thank
you, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. I would first like to welcome everybody in attendance tonight. Those that will be joining us online later. I know we're not live tonight because we've had to change our venue, but I hope everybody enjoys our meeting. And so just want to talk a little bit about the Warren County Educational Endowment. I want to talk about the great people that are part of that endowment, the great work that they do. It's a blessing to get to work with them and to serve on a board that truly cares about education and being able to, every time you go in and have a conversation, it's all about our schools. And it's exciting, it's fun, and I just appreciate every single one of the members of the Warren County Educational Endowment. But for many years, the Warren County Educational Endowment has been a vital partner that has provided grant funding to teachers for innovative learning opportunities for our students. The endowment was founded in 1996 to provide seed money for creative learning ideas developed by the Warren County teachers and staff. Since its inception, the endowment has awarded 223 grants totaling $817,438. This year, the Warren County Endowment awarded 17 grants to the Warren County Public School System totaling $72,973. Members of the endowment will now be able to come up and have a presentation. This time.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Ballenger. On behalf of the Warren County Educational Endowment, I'd like to introduce some of our team. We have Mr. Charlie Sackett, Mr. Ron Napers, Ms. Vida Timbers, Ms. Melanie Barber is in the back taking a picture there, Ms. Marianne Biggs, and Dr. Patterson, and I'm Ray Bramble. So we are very delighted to serve on the board, and it's a very fulfilling, and the students to see their faces, and the teachers that do a wonderful job, and Dr. Ballenger, he's on our board as well. I want to thank you again for that. And tonight we'd like to present you with this check for the Warren County Public Schools, and it's an honor to do so.
Goodbye. What do I use?
Go over there.
Yeah, we'll go over here and take a picture.
Awesome. Okay.
It's this one week. I know. Don't get that way. People them. I take any photo. Oh, sorry. I know why you do that for you.
Always love the big checks.
You're short like me. Stand next to me. I'm challenged and non. It's one and pop in place. It's good. He's a lot of friends, Dan. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Switching gear. She's good with picture.
It's gonna be bad.
So on our website.
See you there. 1, peace of motion.
Thank you, dear sir. I was representing. Thank you. These are just bad. No, you. I can take it back.
Well, you would. I'll get it from your computer. No, it's in your waist and then sheer cut. Check. Lift it up.
Look at it, are you? Right there. Brown.
Next up this evening, we have our attendance award presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we continue with our focus on attendance, and our numbers are getting better. We are working on that. We still continue to do a lot of activities, and so I would like to present tonight our awards. And back there, okay. Thank you, Dr. Costner. A couple of our winners tonight are of course they are not new, and so that just is a testament to the good work that the administrators at those schools that they're doing with their students to encourage students to attend school and to make sure that they're there, and that is the importance of attending school. And so for elementary, this month, or for the month of October, with an attendance rate of 93.57%, I would like to have A.S. Rhodes come up for the elementary winner.
Thank you. When Dr. Costner called me today, I was actually surprised that we won, because we also fell victim to the flu and pneumonia and bronchitis and all of the things that have been going around. Of course, we do appreciate this award. And we want to just thank our custodial crew. They have been doing a great job of making sure that they're spraying some extra times when we can sneak in there during the day when the class is out for specials or something, if we know that there are several students that have been out in that classroom. So we do appreciate them. And just going back to some of those standards when COVID was really, running through our schools, of wiping those highly touched areas. So thanks again to them. And our school counselor takes care of a lot of attendance incentives for our students. And for our first advisory, one of the new things we added was that when we do our kindergarten through second grade awards, we recognize the class with the highest attendance rate for the advisory. And they received a huge trophy to hold in their class for the advisory. And we also did one for third through fifth grade. So kindergarten through second grade was Mrs. Glavis's class, and third through fifth, Mrs. Morris's class won that. So they were really excited. We welcomed some families back for our awards. We had not really been able to do that much since COVID, so we were glad to be able to welcome back families, for students that were getting those Star Student Awards for us mostly. So we were able to accommodate that, and I think they enjoyed that. And we also do the monthly Wheel of Attendance, where we're just challenging each class with our bulletin board. It posts every week, like, what is your class's weekly attendance? And then any classes with 95% or higher are in the Wheel of Attendance. And when that spins, they could win a prize. So in October, it was Mrs. Glavis's class with 96%, Mrs. Crowder's class with 95.9%, Mrs. Bo's class with 95.2%, and Ms. Kuzmik's class with 95%. And last week, we had Mr. Sider's class with 100% attendance for the week. So they earned 10 minutes of extra recess. So again, thanks to our families, our staff, our students, just for their support and help.
That's I look back.
Yes, Ms. Hernandez.
Congratulations, like, I too. Thank you, thank you.
And our secondary winner is kind of on a 3-month streak here. They actually beat AS Rhodes so far this month. So I would like to present with the secondary most attendance award to Warren County Middle School. They had a attendance rate of 91.37%. And as I mentioned, they've won it all 3 months so far this year. So Warren County Middle School.
Thank you. I think you all know the highlight of my day, first month of the first school board meeting of the month is getting the phone call for getting the attendance award. So I was thrilled to get that call today. It made my day look up. And showing up tonight, I'm even more excited that the other middle school's here. So way to go, Warren County Middle Schools. So I'm really glad to see that. But definitely want to thank all of our kids who come to school, our parents for helping them make sure they're healthy and are able to come to school, all of our teachers for all the work they do supporting kids when they're at school. Thank you, board, for the award. Thank you.
One, the two, three, the congratulations. And the social there had the been or the come on that they.
And for our most improved, of course, since we've had some illness hitting us, nobody actually went up. So what we did have to look at was who had the less reduction as far as, and so, which is great. So when you look at it, I would like to present with the most improved to Skyline Middle School. They only had a reduction of 0.38%. So their attendance rate for this month was 88.82%. So they had the lowest reduction for the month.
I like the asterisks. I'd like to thank the families and the students that attend every day and really understand the value of what we're trying to do at Skyline Middle School. So thank you all.
Congrats.
The caveat.
It doesn't matter. You got it.
I got it.
Matters. That's all that matters. You get to hang it up. Doesn't matter how you get it. That's right.
And I'll take it.
Next up this evening, here are our school reports. Dr. Ballenger.
School reports, yes. So I would like to welcome Ms. Cameron. Ms. Cameron is the principal at LFK, and so she will be presenting tonight concerning LFK.
Done. This is just second. Yes.
Thank you for having me here this evening. We have been having a great time over at LFK. I've been very busy with lots of different things. I just wanted to share our vision statement with you and our mission. And our vision is to instill learning as a lifelong process by creating an environment where every student has the opportunity to develop their full potential, be empowered with confidence, and be prepared for future challenges. And then our mission is to create an enriching learning community where excellence is expected of everyone. And hopefully when I share what we got going on, that we are working towards those visions and those missions for our students. I know that you, I think at the last board meeting or work session, data was presented, and I just wanted to share that a school is credited with conditions right now. We are in that area due to our science scores, as well as in math in one of our subgroups. But wanted you guys to know that we keep that in the forefront of all of our planning, all of our decision making, and so I wanted to include that information as well, and then wanted to really celebrate how
much reduction. The chronic absenteeism was hit last year, and that we are working on that again this year. This month has been very difficult with the illnesses, but hopefully we're on the other side of that. So we have 4 domains of our school plan. And these first 3 are our academic supports, so looking at English, math, and science. And our goal in each area is to reach the 80% mark for English, math, as well as science. And science we know is our area of weakness. And we've been doing a lot of hands-on experiments with kids, really trying to enrich their vocabulary, so doing a lot of explicit vocabulary instruction, as well as building their background knowledge. A lot of times we realize that kids don't really know what we're talking about when it comes to, today I was in a science class and we were talking about echolocation, and the kids were like, what? And so they got to watch a video and they got to see some really cool demonstrations, and so, was building up that vocabulary so that we, they're more prepared for the tests. We also have some school goals that come with the school climate, staffing supports, and professional growth. We are working to, of course, with school climate, we're continuing to work towards that 15% state expectation in chronic absenteeism. And then for staffing supports, we are working on just making sure that we are building a positive staff culture. We do lots of activities and things with our staff. We work really hard to support them. They're working extremely hard, doing a lot of new initiatives, learning a lot of new things, and that can become a lot. So we just had a little Halloween-y party and had hot dogs and just sides for Halloween to celebrate, and that kind of, when you don't have to bring your lunch to school, it really does help out a lot. So we try to do little fun things like that throughout the month so that, we are finding the joy in being educators. And then we're just working on developing our staff in teaching and learning. And most of that is revolving around the VLA, and I know that other schools have talked about that, so I'm not going to drone on about that. But it is a big piece of what our professional development is aimed at. I also wanted to share, we're doing the core instruction that has been purchased by the county and developed through our curriculum meetings with our teams. So we're doing the HMH, the U-Fly, all of that, the Go Math, and then we have recently just gotten all of our intervention sets in, and so that's been a whole new learning curve for our teachers, and they've been great and flexible at trying to learn the new materials so that we can provide the interventions that our students need in those areas of reading. And so there's several different ones. So we have Sound Sensible, Spire, 95% comprehension and vocabulary search, and they're they're listed in order. So, you've got your Sound Sensibles working on those letter sounds, and then that Spire kind of develops to the encoding and the decoding pieces. And then once they have that, then we work on that comprehension and the vocabulary. We continuing to use Lexia. The state had provided that through the All-In Tutoring grant money last year. We're continuing to use that. And reading, it's probably one of the only programs we've continued into this year. We as a school used our federal grant money to purchase iReady Math for our students. And we had a professional development this week where they came and worked with our teachers to look at our diagnostic data and how our teachers can take the diagnostic data, build small groups, build remediation and instruction into their math blocks, as well as keep kids on their own learning path. And so that's kind of what iReady does. They do a diagnostic test and it puts them on their own path to learning. It also allows the teacher to know where are they, how much do we need to provide additional to support them in helping them make those gains between grade levels. Okay, so I thought I would just share a little bit about the programs that we have. Some that we have created new and some we are continuing at LFK. Our first is our Learning Center. Our Learning Center is kind of a midway place between the gen ed classroom and I could say tier 2, but We call it the Learning Center, and it is for our students who are really struggling in the classroom. At the beginning of the year, we noticed that some of our kids were just really struggling to be in the gen ed classroom, and they needed some kind of bridge to help them get to the point where they could sit in the classroom and do what was expected in that general education room. And so my special ed teachers were great. We kind of met and brainstormed and worked to create a classroom that is led by one of our special ed teachers and supported by an instructional assistant to provide this atmosphere for the kids. We have a variety of different multisensory things in the room. Just simple things like there's like in that picture they're sitting in this canoe. It's full of air and when they're, when somebody's not feeling well or they just like need a minute, they kind of go into this little canoe and that like really calms them down. And then our little fellow in the front, he's riding a bicycle, a stationary bike, but like we're getting the kids the things that they need. So they're moving, they've got a trampoline in there, but they also have quiet areas where they can look at books or look at a sensory bottle or whatever they need. And then the teachers pull them either individually or in groups of 2 to work on their classwork and to work on the instruction. Several of our kids have kind of grown into now they're going into the general ed classroom for a while, and then they come back for that kind of time to work on their own, but are getting there. And one of our really high needs kids, I was talking to the teacher today, has not been able to be in the classroom at all, but we think that next week we'll be able to get him some time in the classroom. And so that's just been super exciting to see learning happening with those kids just in a different way, but they really are succeeding and learning quite a bit. So that's been a really great program for us to get up and running and supporting our teachers in the classrooms by removing some of the behaviors, but then supporting those behaviors and teaching kids how to be students in a classroom. Our school counseling program has been working really hard. Last week we had Red Ribbon Week, where we had a number of activities to remind students to stay away from drugs. And then our school counselors had to work really hard this year to get enough backpack buddies for our students. I think this year LFK saw a very big increase in the number of families who were requesting assistance, and they worked with our churches and the local food banks, and we were able to provide, and I think they're providing about 150 backpack buddies a week now. And so they worked really, really hard to get that up and running so that all of the kids would have that support to go home. And they're just starting our holiday support. So, figuring out who needs support for Thanksgiving and who needs help at Christmas. These are some pictures from our Red Ribbon Week. We did a Western Day, which was new. I've never done that before, and it was really, really cute. Those kids in their boots and hats was just to die for. And then our students had a Halloween lunch, and it was themed, and they thought that was really cool. And so if they got the parfait, they got Dracula teeth, and so those went really quickly that day. And then we had a day where we let them dress in their costumes as characters, and so it was a busy week last week, but it was a good week. Our PTO is very involved and has been great at helping support our student and staff needs. This year at our PTO meetings, we've been doing like a kind of a beginning session of explaining things to parents. So we've talked about what is an SST, what is an IEP, how do you request assistance for your student, what does our GT program look like. We've talked about our Title I funds and had different members from central office come and our IRT team come and share with parents, what is available, how to get those resources, and what we are using those resources for. Upcoming, we have our turkey trot. That's actually next Thursday. That is a fundraiser where our students they donate food items and $5, and we use the money and the food items from that to create holiday baskets for our families in need. So our kids are looking forward to that, similar to a color run. So they usually have lots of fun with that. We have several after-school activities going. Our 4th and 5th grade chorus is getting ready for their holiday concert, so they've been busy learning all of their holiday songs. We did start a small fall scholars club. We used some of our grant money from the federal grants to offer some after-school tutoring. We are doing one day a week, about 25 kids participating, so that helps with some of our attendance chronic absenteeism piece, as well as provide some academic instruction for students who need it. Our science club has been going strong, and I do have a slide to share about that. We've been doing some after-school fundraisers. So we just did a really fun craft activity for Halloween. So we try to do something fun where we can raise a little money but have a good time with the students. And then starting in probably about January, we'll get our kindness club back up and running. We just have had a lot of things going on. This is our science club. Our science club is run by Mrs. West and Mr. Shell, and our students dive into the world of science each Tuesday afternoon. They engage in hands-on learning and outdoor activities, from scavenger hunts to creating mini terrariums. They're exploring a wide range of scientific standards in fun and creative ways. We had so many kids sign up for Science Club that we're going to do 2 sessions. We're going to do a fall session and then a spring session for those students who we were not able to get in during the fall session. So that's been very exciting. This was our back to school dance. Our school counselors did that. That was, the event of the season is a school dance. And so they had a really great time with that. This was our Spooktacular Craftivity. That's the fun fundraiser that we did just last week. And the kids had a really great time making crafts, talking with their friends. They had some different activities to do. And so that was a good time. It's good to spend time with the kids, not doing stuff that's academic, doing that creative thing with kids. And also, if you watch kids through the process of creating a craft, it's just so eye-opening in how they think and how they process what they're doing. We did have a kindergartner put the whole thing on the table, so the whole project was glued right to the table, and we don't know how that happened, but they had a good time doing it. So that's fine. Shut that out. We also, during the month of October, we read a book together for our One School, One Book, and we read The Wild Robot. That is actually playing in theaters. You can go ahead and, I don't want to spoiler alert it for anybody, but it's a really good book. It goes over several different themes, from friendship to differences to, accepting others for their differences. And so that was a really good book to read with the school. And so we did a family challenge for families to build a robot, and we had they were awesome. So many different robots came in, and every single one was so very different. I've got some more pictures of those. And that's just a few of them. They were lining the hallways. Some of the kids took them home right after Title one night. They wanted their robot. And so I didn't get a picture of all of them because they really wanted to take it home with them. But they all really did enjoy that. And then to celebrate our One Book, One School, we had a Title I night revolving around the Wild Robot. And so that evening, students moved from activity to activity, and they built robots, they camouflaged the robots, they built new prosthetic leg for the robot, and then we used the robot spheres, we have, with our technology group has those. And they're really cool. These are called Spiros, and the kids use the Chromebook to navigate them. You can kind of see in the corner there, but they can drive them all over the place. And so they really enjoyed that. We're continuing working strong on our playground project, so we do want to put out a special thanks to Rotary and Kiwanis for their monetary donation. These are the next 2 pieces we're working on ordering. We have the little it's like a garden set for our preschool to kind of give them a piece, and then add an additional swing set to our large playground up at the top of the hill. Some of our future projects, I do want to say we were a recipient of one of the educational endowment grants to refurbish our sensory rooms. So we're really looking forward to creating another space for kids when they just need a break. And we are going to also include in that sensory room a sensory path for students some students need quiet and a break, like calm sounds, they need music. And some kids need that movement piece. And so that sensory path offers students a constructive way to move their body so that they can kind of get themselves recentered and back to learning. We will have, of course, our turkey trot next week. Our Thanksgiving lunch is coming up next week. That's a really big deal. We are getting ready for that and preparing for lots of families to join us for that on Thursday. We'll do some more fun activities, fun after-school fundraising activities, and then our kindness club will start. I did want to put a shout out there too for some other additional support. Family Dollar Distribution Center helped us a great deal and donated I think about 900 different items to the school, and that helped us fulfill some additional backpack needs as well as preparing us for supporting families for the holidays. And then Walmart gave us a donation as well of some school supplies, and we've been able to use that to make sure students have everything that they need in the classroom and then support teachers as much as we could. So our theme this year was a puzzle piece. So we really talked about at the beginning of the year that we all need each other to do this job. We're all a piece of the puzzle, and so I remind my staff often that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And I made them little cards with a little saying on it because I wanted them to put it somewhere that they would remember, and made them a little keychain to keep on their lanyard, and I have mine right here. And I brought one for each of you today because you guys are a part of our team as well. We can't do what we're doing without you, and we appreciate all the support. There's one more fun picture. My staff really got into character day, and so some of my teams dressed up, little themes. So I wanted to share that with you. They'd probably be like, what did you do? But they were so cute. I just loved it. And so thank you. Thank you, Karen.
Banking state position. Banking is human position.
Tuesday meter lock.
Over here.
You brought stream of death, didn't I? What happened when you my friend?
Next up this evening, we have community participation. Is there anyone who would like to speak this evening? Next up, we have the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
It means that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
We second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain. Opposed? No. Thank you. You got that, Mr. Melisite. Next up this evening, we have reports. Then the doctor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. November is Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Month. Each year, schools will do food drives and partner with local organizations to help assist families and students in our community in need. If families are in need, I encourage families to reach out to your teacher, to your principal, and they will get in touch with Ms. Sperling, or they can reach out to Special Services and talk to Ms. Sperling. And we do have a coordinator that helps to run our McKinney-Bento program. And so, if parents are in need of assistance, we do have resources, and I encourage families to reach out to us and partner. So there's a lot of different things going on throughout our school concerning hunger and homelessness over the month of November. So please look out for those and please help support. November 11th is Veterans Day. This is a holiday for staff and students, so that's next week. Then also November 25th through the 29th, that is Thanksgiving week. This is also a holiday for students and staff, so there will be no school. Just wanted to remind parents again, as you noticed, Ms. Cameron mentioned that they're going to have their Thanksgiving dinner next week. That goes on at all of our elementaries, and so be looking for that to come out, join for Thanksgiving dinners. But there's also many other activities that's happening this month at all of our schools. I just encourage families to please check their child's website, check the social media page, look at the newsletter that's sent out from the teacher or from the school, and just see how you can get involved at our schools. As far as staffing updates, right now, current vacant positions, we have one HVAC apprenticeship position open. Transportation, there's 6 total, but only 4 are routed bus drivers. Then we have 1 VLA reading specialist, and remember, that's the one that we've had open, and it's a shared position between E. Wilson and A.S. Rhodes. So we do have that 1 VLA reading. We also have a registered nurse and 1 teacher position at Rusty Jeffries, but we will be filling the teaching position in January. So, so that position will be closing up. Skyline High School, we will have 1 SPED teacher position. There are 2 teachers, 1 English, 1 math. There's 1 ELA, 1 ELL teacher. And then the dean position, that dean position is being filled. So you should be seeing that on next, at the work session coming up. So that position will be filled. Skyline Middle School, there's an English teacher and a history teacher. Special Services, 1 SPED IA. Warren County High School, there are 2 teachers, both of them are math. Those still vacant positions there, which they just added 1 because 1 teacher took a job here not too long ago, so they did have 1, but now they're down 2. Also 2 IAs. Warren County Middle School, there are 2 SPED IA positions, and then they have that dean position, but that's being filled also, and I believe that is also a start date for the December 1st, correct? December 2nd. So those positions, so we have 3 positions there that we will be filling over the next couple of months, and we continue to be active as far as recruiting, trying to get these positions filled. So that is my update.
Thank you, Dr. Ballenger. Board member reports, this low.
I don't have any report this morning.
Thank you. Dr. Funk.
Just wanted to report that I did attend the first Warren County 101 meetings. That was in October. I think it was after our first month meeting.
Make sure I didn't without repeating something I've already said. And I think so it was nice to see there's about 17, if I remember correctly. Dr. Pence was there as well for the first meeting. So it was great to see I think it was about 17. There was a few, I think, that were absent for the first one. So I look forward to hearing, their experiences over the next couple of months and participating in that. And that's every key today. Thank you. Mr. McFadden.
It's been a year since I was elected to this board, and I just want to say I enjoy being on the board, and it's different than what I thought it would be, but it's a little bit of post-traumatic stress from yesterday to today, saying I'm here. But it's we're after the very first meeting we had, Dr. Pence turned to me and said, only 87 more meetings. So, I think that was a low number. Anyway, so I don't have anything else to report other than I'm happy that I wasn't running for office this year, and I'm happy to be on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Salins.
Since our last meeting, I attended the building committee meeting along with Mr. McFadden. And I think we were able to come to a good agreement with the supervisors, which we'll be voting on later tonight, the agreement about the Bing Crossing Stadium. And then the other big issue that we're continuing to work on is getting county and town and school board together working about the development issue and expected student yield amounts and whatnot. We were looking at specifically the apartment complex that is possibly going to be built behind the library and how we can negotiate some sort of terms with them wanting access through our property that the library is on. So we'll continue to work on that.
Thank you. I don't think I have much to report. As Dr. Funk said, we attended the first WCPS 101. I thought it was a great event. I think that there's a big variety of attendees this year. I think they're going to get a lot out of it. It's going to be a really good experience for them. I attended a couple of fall festivals. Didn't make LFK, but I did see a couple of them, and just seeing all the community members out, all the parents, all the kids, the schools really all put together some really nice events. And then just appreciate Warren County Educational Endowment and everything that they do for our school community all throughout the year as well. And moving on to the action agenda this evening. First up, we have the second reading of policy GC professional staff. Straight.
Good evening. So this is our second reading for policy GC professional staff as far as our 1 year local eligibility and updating our policy to include that verbiage in there, to also include the application with it. So if there was any readings or suggestions or that came from that.
The other thing I noticed is on the PDF, it's called Local Eligibility License Attestation Form. The attestation, I think, is misspelled. Just on the document title.
Yeah.
And I think you said at our work session you had 13.
We did. We submitted 13 applications, yes. So we're still waiting on the Department of Education or the BDOE to be able to get those back to us for the actual license number, but they have all been submitted.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much. Okay, next up, we have the facilities use MOU with the County of Warren. Dr. Foster.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members. Tonight, I bring in front of you, after working with the building committee, we have worked diligently together to help draft the MOA. And so I'll bring forth to you tonight the red line items, and I move to approve be given for the school board chair and the superintendent to sign the memorandum of agreement for use of facilities between the county of Warren County and Warren County School Board.
I know there's been a lot of discussion already about this, a lot of work in the facilities committee. Are there any questions for Dr. Costner? Is there a motion?
I move the approval being given to the school board chair and the superintendent to sign the memorandum of agreement for the use of facilities between the County of Warren and the Warren County School Board.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, Dr. Costner. And then next up, I'm not going to read each of these individual policies that we'll be talking about this evening. We'll just say this is sort of our first chunk that Ms. Lowe and Mr. McFadden have been working through up for our ending. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. That's good. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair, I did bring forth the items, policies A through D that the school board subcommittee has been working with SBMA to update our policy handbook. This is the first reading. It doesn't require a motion, but are there any suggestions, recommendations before we bring to the second reading?
I just question about one little area. So, and I should have flagged this, but I found it right away, thankfully. Policy AFA, there's like this red line paragraph, which I think is, so it's the school board may adopt bylaws and regulations not inconsistent with state statutes and regulations of the Board of Education for its own government, for the management of its official business, and for the supervision of schools, including but not limited to the proper discipline of students, including their conduct going to and returning from school. So I have no question about the paragraph, but just its placement on the two documents that it's on.
Well, yes, ma'am. And when looking at that, it's also placed in another policy, CC.
Yeah,
So that was just placed in two random places. Now, I think what should actually be done with that, there is a policy that the board has and it's policy BFC. If you look at policy BFC, that is policy adoption. And that outlines policy adoption and regulation. I think that that language would be best served in policy BFC, where it talks about policy adoption. And then if you can reference policy BFC into those other policies. So it'd be a cross-reference.
Well, and my question was, and it might be a legal thing, it says the school board may, in both those sections, may adopt bylaws and regulations not inconsistent with state statutes. Is there a reason it just doesn't say?
That's state law. Yeah, they always throw that. They always throw that. Yeah.
Why doesn't it say consistent with state? But if it's a direct quote, I understand. I was just like, why did?
Yeah. I just feel that, you know, when looking at policy to make sure that it flows good, if you already have a policy that talks about how the board adopts policy, that's where that really should go. What I kind of feel.
But that's not on the one, any of that we're looking at.
No, it's not. It's not.
BFC, correct?
No, that is on. You have to find policy BFC in the policy manual.
Right.
And it is the title of it is policy adoption.
Did you two have?
So just so everyone knows how this came about, we're at the School Board Member Alliance is rewriting our policies to bring them up to speed. And so Vicki with the School Board Member Alliance sent these first 18. Ms. Lowe and myself read them over to see if there was anything we want to discuss. We sent some things back to them. They made some changes, and here's where we are. I did, Dr. Ballenger sent me that discussion, that question today. I sent to Vicki saying, you know, what's with the point? Why do you add this to the policy? I haven't heard back from her yet. I'm sure she'll get back to me soon, but maybe she has some reason for it, but I don't know what it is. But what you're saying seems to make sense.
Well, and there's also in the updates, I noticed that they also, so 22.1-78 is also listed as a legal reference at some of the other policy updates, but they don't put that policy at the top of it. And so, or that language. So they're referencing, even in some of the other policies, the 22.1-78, which, you know, that's what they could do in that one is reference that law, which then cross-references to the other policy. I think it just flow better that way. For me, as a recommendation. Now, as far as board, I mean, it's your decision, but that's just a recommendation that I was looking at, because when you go looking through policy, you want to find that one policy that outlines the policy adoption processes and procedures. And then, because when you look at, for me, AFA, I got to get back to the agenda. Sorry, I went over to the policy, so now I've got to get back to the meeting here. When looking at AFA, let me blow it back up here, sorry.
It's a
You know, this is actually talking about your evaluation. It's your evaluation as a board. You know, as your evaluation of a board, to me, you're not really adopting any bylaws or regulations, or you're kind of setting the goals for what you as the school board would like to accomplish. Now, yes, in setting your goals as a school board, you can't do anything that would violate law or the BDOE regulation or anything of that nature. So that's why I think that, you know, just cross-referencing that and you can see they have cross-reference down there some other policies. I think it would just flow better because, you know, if there's other places throughout your policy where you're going to actually want to cross-reference that policy.
And you could almost put that on every single
Right.
one.
He could, yeah.
Essentially.
And so
Is it necessary?
that way it cleans it up a little bit. You're not going to open a policy and have that statement in every single one of them.
Right.
You know, you just have a policy that states that.
So one of the things that is different for this than I guess most other times is Ms. Lowe and I about these things. We've been kind of dragging our feet on this a little bit, so we just wanted to get it to its first reading. But I think we also discussed that maybe in the future, when we get them, we will send them on to, obviously, to you and the administration to look at. You're the ones that know more about this. to see what needs to be tweaked before the first reading, and then you would bring your red line version of the SBMA policies for the first reading.
Yeah, or just a recommendation.
Yeah, well, the
We
recommendation.
would leave it as this and say, we recommend, most of the time we would put a list together, say, we recommend to keep the policy as written or as presented, or we recommend certain changes. Here are the changes that we would recommend.
Okay.
And then that way the board could, digest that,
Yeah.
say, okay, do we want to keep it this way? Or here's what our administrators are saying as far as, because when I look at it from our practical standpoint, we're practicing those policies on a daily basis. And so, really we want to also make sure, it's meeting what the school board wants as far as the standards that the school board has, but also a practicality from a standpoint where we implement those policies.
Right.
Where is it? Say you said BFC, B as in boy, F as in Fred, C as in Charles.
It's not in this chunk that they've done.
No, but I just pulled up the policy on our policy. I don't see that wording in there.
He's saying it could go there.
Toby, were you good? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that fifth thing. Yeah, no, it's not in there, no. I think that is the better place for it. And probably that policy needs to have some revision done to it also in looking at it. I mean, there are some things that we probably need to change in that policy. I just feel that that's the better placement for that paragraph. Yes, ma'am.
And right now, the link is already in AFA and CC at the bottom where you can click on it and get to that paragraph. Honestly, that's the only thing in reading all of these edits that just stood out to me is this seems really out of place on these two top of pages. Good. Yeah.
I mean, they were pretty simplistic changes, and so that I agree. I mean, there's not a lot of holistic changes there, but I just think
But I'd be interested to see, you said you sent an email.
Yeah.
I haven't heard back yet. We'll see what the reasoning is. Any other questions about this and discussion about this?
I had one, but I didn't know where it was.
This is tied.
Sometimes, but it's not that it's referencing the reports to the state.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, and so that
Over here. CL, policy CL administrative reports.
yeah.
Under CL administrative reports, it says, there's a line 3 or paragraph 3. The superintendent shall complete and submit all reports required by law and by the State Department of Education. Something that could be added to that would say, and at the same time, furnish a copy of those reports to the school board. Again, we're working on trying to create a good reporting system, but just that it's in there to say, well, whatever reports you have for a legal version for the state or required by law, that at that same time, we also hear about it.
Did you catch us?
You got a question?
Oh, well, that just what he was saying about getting the copies of reports as they.
To add an edit to that line 3 would say, Department of Education, comma, and at the same time, furnish a copy of those reports to the school board. It's just, that was the one other thing on there.
Are those reports, would they be accessible in that kind of format? Because I know a lot of times it's like the Internet of Ed platform where you input information, and so it's not maybe always easily accessible in a readable report or a PDF.
I would have to look to see. Some you can go to, some there are print options where you can print a report to review a report. But yeah, I mean, you should be able to print a report. Now, I don't know if you can print one. Like a lot of times you can print the previous reports. I don't know sometimes if we can get a report of the current one, but sometimes you can. I think it just depends. I haven't tried to print the current report. I know when it comes to me, it's in a format as presented. So like for instance, when I'll use Mr. Valentine, for instance, he just finished his big finance report, a couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or however many weeks ago it was. it comes to me a little bitty screen, and I go through that, and then I approve it. Now, can we print off of that report?
Yeah, yes, we can. And it's quite lengthy, but it might be interesting.
So, yeah, we can.
Electronic format. Yeah, without it, like into electronic.
Yeah. But no, that'd be, and as far as doing that, I mean, the administrators that are doing the reports, that would just be a requirement that I would have them, once they finish the report, they send me a copy and we'll forward it to the school.
Great.
So that would just be some addition that we can do there.
Are there any other questions on this?
So, Madam Chair, what would we look forward for moves aboard for Barrington second reading?
I think just the adding that little comma into the school board for.
I'll be happy to send you the thing.
Policy CL.
Yes, sir.
I mean, are we going to hear back concerning policy AFA and moving that paragraph?
Yeah, I would imagine we'd hear today or tomorrow from her about it.
It's
But-
AFA and CC that we were talking about.
And-
What if we hear back, then move forward with other change for recommend?
But to me, I think that's either it's just coming off of there and getting put in the stack for the next set of policies, or we
Here the reason.
yeah, exactly.
But again, for the future ones, rather than us getting in the middle of it, we'll send it to Dr. Ballenger, and you guys put your input into it before we ever have a first reading of it. Yes.
These are pretty straightforward as far as straightforward can go. So, thank you so much. Hey, next up we have board member requests, and we start with Ms. Salins.
I think we're working on all of my requests right now, honestly. So, and all the new ones.
Perfect. Mr. McFadden.
I don't have any requests this time.
So my only request or thought process is we received, I guess you all received an email at 5 o'clock on Friday night that we were not able to use the government center for our regularly scheduled meeting. So I just wanted to get some further inquiry about how that happened. Obviously, I'm not going to answer maybe right now. I would like for us to know, why did that happen?
I spoke to, I think I can answer it.
Okay, that'd be great. Because I just know, we use that building for the first formal meeting, and it's live stream. Everybody expects it to be live streamed, so when it can't be, and then, I don't know, just like to know, because I don't want that to continue to happen in the future if we planned our meetings out for, a year in advance.
So my understanding, because I spoke to Ms. Cullors about it, is that the Board of Supervisors moved their Tuesday meeting, of course, because of the election yesterday. And so this is the 5th year that I've been sitting here, and it hasn't been an issue before. But usually, I believe what happens is the Board of Supervisors has a morning meeting when they move it. So they would have done it Wednesday morning. So it would not have been a conflict with our Wednesday evening meeting. And just, unfortunately, I don't think anyone was on the lookout for that change, because it's not been something we've experienced before. And so I do apologize, and hopefully everyone figured out about our move. I apologize for not having live stream. I think it was an unavoidable thing for this evening, and here we are trying to record it as best we can through the school, and also where the examiner came, so that'll be posted in that way. But that a bit told I have to live well. I don't have anything.
I do not have anything either.
Is there a motion on the personnel report and personnel report addendum?
I move it.
It's only 7:30. It was really.
I move that the personnel report and personnel report addendum be approved as presented.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you.